I know it's one game at a time, and obviously the first one's important, but how much do you emphasize a fast start in terms of maybe the first 3 or 4 games in the Big 12?
You know what, we haven't talked like that. We haven't really talked about the conference season except a little bit after Christmas before we played Eastern Michigan, and then a little bit after the game, and I didn't see him yesterday. So we'll just reconvene for the first time since the game here in a little bit. So I don't know that you talk about the league race getting off to a fast start. I think you just talk about, you know, playing well early, and you know, it's such a long grind. 18 games is a long time, so you don't want to put too much emphasis on one game. But in the big picture, certainly it behooves you to get off to a good start, obviously.
You've typically done a really good job with the practices during breaks, right? Of improving at that time. Was there anything specific that you guys concentrated on, or something that you feel like was improved a lot?
You know what? We really haven't had a chance to get into that as much as you would think, Sam. We had a week of practice before Arizona State, or almost a week. We had South Dakota in there, but we really didn't add anything. Since we've been back, we've added a little bit, but really the majority of the practice sessions come from this point forward. We don't start school till the 22nd. Yeah. So the fact that, you know, the first couple of practice getting back is kind of review, you know, get kind of back in shape, review what you already know. So really, and you still by NCAA rules have to give them off a day a week. So it's even during the break time, which I don't understand. But the reality of it is we're just now getting into the practice time. I think we'll know a lot more in the next 10 or 12 days. And that'll be our best practice sessions, I hope.
Bill, what needs to happen for Doak and Diedrich to really help each other in the paint rather than, you know, clash with one another, so they just make each other better?
Well, I think it'd help a lot if we made some shots from the perimeter, you know, so you can stretch the defense a little bit. I think that would help us a lot. I think Diedrich can play around anybody. You know, even if Diedrich's stats, people will look at it and say, well, he didn't do as much with Doak in the game. Well, they played zone and we play him at the high post, so he doesn't get as many chances to score underneath, you know, because he's so good in the high post area. So that Eastern Michigan, that didn't count. He'd be able to count more starting Wednesday with those guys playing together. But I think that when you look at it and you look at Diedrich's production and whoever's playing that 4 spot when Doak was out, even if Diedrich was producing big time, and then you look at Doak and Diedrich together, you'll still see us being much better with both those guys in there together. But you'll also see Diedrich's numbers go down a little bit just because he won't get as many opportunities in time.
What did you see out of David in the practices leading up to the Eastern Michigan game that you liked?
I think he's just, I think he's really bright, but I think he's figuring it out, what he can, how he can really contribute defensively, and also playing more under control offensively. You know, against Arizona State, he played really well, and then he had one bad play in the second half, which was a big play when he runs down a loose ball and he tries to go 1 against 3 and ends up getting blocked, and it leads to points for the other team. But I think he's starting to figure that stuff out, and I think we're going to need his size and rebounding in there. We're not a real good rebounding team. That if I was going to pick one area that I wish we were better at, thinking that we would be going into the season, would be rebounding, and we're only about +4, which isn't a great number regardless of who you're playing.
Is there something specific you try to stress to guys like David or the younger guys about the grind of conference play and how to handle that once it starts?
Yeah, we will. We will. You know, the freshmen hadn't hit the wall yet. They'll hit it here in late January or early February. I mean, they all do at some point in time, and we'll certainly talk about those things. And we actually started a little bit after the Eastern Michigan game talking about some stuff. But I think today, you know, we'll talk about, you know, we hadn't talked about as a group, you know, what it takes to win a league. You know, we haven't talked about that yet, but we'll certainly focus in on that and the things you have to do to be consistently good over a span of, well, just about 2.5 months, which isn't easy to do. But you just need to be kind of even keel. I mean, you'll be peaks and valleys, but they don't need to be spikes. They don't need to be like December market, you know. And it needs to be something that just kind of grind through it, but you can't pass up opportunities to take advantage of good nights, good situations. I just looked at the OU game from last year when we played in Norman. We played great. Had a 9-point lead in the second half. You got to win that game, and we didn't. So those are the type of things you got to take advantage of winning those close games when you get an opportunity to, because there'll be a lot of them.
How much do you expect your veterans to maybe talk a little bit more with the other guys about that on their own time, or shoot around or whatever? I mean.
Oh no, they will. LeGerald actually did some the other day after I guess the coaches left the room. But really, LeGerald and Mitch and they're really the only, I guess Marcus a little bit. Those are the only guys that we have that actually have participated in something like what we're getting ready to go through. So I think they'll do a good job helping. Of course, Charlie and KJ and Diedrich have seen it, firsthand, but they didn't experience it. But I think we'll be at least understanding what it takes to win. Doesn't mean you're going to play well, but certainly, there's certain possessions that are just far more valuable than others. There's also a different intensity level that you have to, be prepared for, and it's certainly much harder to win away from home in conference play than it even is non-conference, because the conference games mean more.
It seems like Vaughn is doing so much well right now. What's something else that you think he can do to take his game to the next level?
I think that as good as he's done, and I think he's done great. So you said something else, so you're the one being negative. I still think that he can get more assists. I think he can create easier baskets for Doak and Diedrich than what we're doing right now. Even though he's doing a good job getting downhill, but I just think simple plays, feeding the post, outside hand, whatever. I think those will be things that he'll get better on as he continues to move forward.
Some people are surprised that the Sooners are doing as well as they are. What is the key on why they're playing so well right now?
Well, they're guarding. Statistically, they're very good defensively. They're a very good rebounding team. They're bigger than what you think. When you can play, Manic at the 4 and Denise at the 5. That's as tall a front line as anybody in our league, I believe. And then certainly, you've got big wings, and they've got a couple of guards that are new, that create pace, and they're hard to pressure. They got a good team, and they're Christian James is taking his game to the next level. He, as of right now, he would have to be the most improved player in our league, based on where he was. Even though he was a good player last year, he's a terrific player. He's definitely a first-team all-leaguer.
What looks different about him?
I don't know. Maybe confidence,
Okay.
maybe freedom, but certainly being able to go get his own on his own, and every time he shoots the ball, you think it's going in. So I don't know specifically if there's conditioning. I don't have any idea on that stuff, but he looks awfully good to me and to everybody else.
Quentin scored some points late the other night. Is there value in that?
Yeah,
His
I think so.
progress?
Yeah, I think so. He had 16? And had 7 in the first half, made a couple of threes, and attacked the hole. I thought he did some good things. So I do think there's value. You're not gonna expect a guy to come out and make every shot, all that stuff. But he's due to have one of those games where he gets on a little bit of a roll. And the other night, he played more minutes. I guess he led our team in minutes the other night. So, I see him, and he's been practicing better. So I see him having some confidence and some positive momentum moving in the league.
Is he playing smarter offensively? It seemed like maybe a few weeks back, maybe he would get his own head or make some mistakes.
I would say, to answer your question, yes, but I don't know how you can evaluate that off of one game. In the game we played, they played zone every possession, so they're all the shots come off the catch, and as opposed to attacking the basket like you'll have to against somebody that plays man to man, which OU will.
Did you get any indication of how Doak responded to playing a real game and how the ankle?
I haven't talked to him since Saturday night, so
Yeah.
I went recruiting Saturday night, and I haven't talked to him, so, I'm not gonna approach it like there's anything wrong at all. He played, he looked like he's close to 100%, so this is 48 hours later, so why wouldn't he be better?
Sure.
You know, that's,
Sure.
I'm not gonna ask him how he's doing, he may say not very well. so.
After being out a month, I mean, how would you assess his game? It seemed like he was really dominant.
I thought he did good, you know, he made a lot of baskets in tight, you know, but that's what he does. But I thought he did well, I didn't think he jumped like he's capable of, he mistimed a couple of dunks that he'd normally make. But I thought he did terrific, I thought he moved his feet well. Biggest concern with him was just conditioning.
These are two teams that played the two toughest major college schedules in the country. Is that, you think, beneficial for Oklahoma coming in here?
Sure it is. Oklahoma should have confidence, you know, they won at Northwestern, they beat Notre Dame on a neutral floor in New York, and they've got other wins, that are impressive, you know, they beat USC basically on a neutral court, they beat Wichita State, you know, they played unbelievable against Wichita State, and, you know, I guess had them down 30-something, you know, so, and even though it was in Oklahoma City, it was still somewhat neutral, so I think that they should be on a serious uptick right now, and you can tell their guys are having fun playing with each other, they really share the ball well.
It seems like they've been able to establish consistency despite losing some top-tier talent over the past couple of years. What do you think that says about Lon as a coach for them?
Well, Lon is one of the most respected guys in our business. I mean, he can really coach, and that's been evident everywhere he's been. K-State, Pan American, you know, obviously Florida, and Vegas, and OU, and NBA head coach and assistant coach in between. Yeah, he's one of the most liked, and he's easy to like because he's a good dude, but certainly one of the best tacticians. And I think he does as good a job as anybody who's playing in mismatches. And I said that earlier. I think he and Jay Ryan do about as good a job of anybody that we go against playing playing switches and mismatches. So he's good. He's good, and OU will always be good. I know last year was a you know, people say it's a down year or whatever. Well, heck, they still went to the NCAA tournament. It wasn't a down year. Our league was good, you know. But no, he can really coach.
Anything else?
What record do you think it'll take this year?
To win the league? Oh, I don't know. I'll say the same thing I say every year. 14-4, we get it outright. 13-5, we tie it. I think that's what I always say. So, you take that and go to the bank then, Gary, because I don't see any team though having a record that will be